What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video. My name is Mike, full-time media seller. We have not been at the storage unit in a while. I have leftovers from library pickups. It's kind of been a mess, but hence the topic of this video, right? The thumbnail is not clickbait. What you're seeing is not clickbait. Our cat, Nico, we got to take him to the emergency vet. He is back home now, but expenses rack up quick. The importance of this whole channel is to kind of give yourself a little bit of financial freedom, selling the junk nobody else wants, right? Like the DVDs, the endless piles of books, the CDs. I've come a long way. This is going to be a kind of personal story journey I'm going to take you on throughout this video. But first, if you want to make money selling media on Amazon, join the YouTube channel, $2.99 a month, weekly Zoom calls, private Discord. I got brain fog because I've been all over the place, and your monthly go-to list or discount pays for itself. So, vet bills. All right, vet bills are super expensive, especially emergency vet bills. So I'm gonna break down how much I had to sell to cover this bill, how long it took, how many items I had to sell, but a little bit of backstory. Many, many moons ago, probably 12 years ago, back when I was completely in debt, I couldn't afford, you know, anything besides the McDonald's dollar menu. We still had cats, right? Me and Deb had cats almost our whole time together. Once we got our own place, we've basically had a cat the whole time, at least one. And they offer different things, right? Like back when I used to go and I couldn't afford it, they had a card like Care Credit. It's like a credit card. You could put it on there and it was like free financing if you paid it off within like the first 6 months, which of course I never did. I was living dollar to dollar, paycheck to paycheck. Me and Deb were both working. We weren't making ends meet. We weren't good with our money. And we actually had a kitten, Owen, and we thought he had asthma, and he wound up having fluid in his lungs. And when we took him in, the procedure was like, I think it was around $3,000. Maybe it was less. Maybe it was only like $2,000. And this, like I'm saying, this is back in 2011, 2012. And our Care Credit card was maxed out. I had no money. We had zero savings, debt everywhere. And we could not afford to have it wasn't like one of those situations where it's guaranteed to like work. They're like, we can drain the fluid from the lungs, see exactly what's going on. It doesn't mean the kitten's going to survive, etc., etc. Anyway, we cannot afford it. So we had to go the other route. And I don't know, looking back, it's such a shitty situation, you know, like not being able to, we basically treat our cats like kids. You guys can all laugh, put whatever dumbass comments you want in the YouTube channel. I could care less. So when situations like that arise and you can't even afford to get them taken care of, like it's a kick in the face, it's a punch in the gut, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, it kind of made us realize like we can't keep living like this, you know, like this is not a sustainable lifestyle. Fast forward now, however many years, I'm a lot uglier. I'm more bald than I was back then. And here we are again, right? Emergency vet visit, the exact total, $2,964 for a day and a half at the emergency vet, getting him checked out. He's always had like his stomach has always been shot, right? Like I kind of relate it to like people that can't eat gluten or lactose. So they can't really diagnose anything exactly with this, right? So we're going down the route of IBD, lymphoma, there's a few others, intestinal. Deb knows all the stuff. Honestly, she's been literally knee deep for the past 3 days looking into everything. So he needs a diet change and everything. But you know how it works. You go to the vet, they're not giving you your cat back unless you pay, right? And I'm sure we've been throwing pictures up of him throughout this whole video. We literally got him as a little tiny kitten, and he's as ugly as ever. But he is back home now, and he does seem to be in better spirits. He does seem to be doing better. But this is something that's going to be ongoing treatment. And while we were in there, right, I can't say this enough. Starting today, even if it's small steps to get yourself financially secure so you don't have to stress about being able to pay the bill and getting, maybe you are the person that has actual real human children, not cat or dog children or rabbits or parrots, whatever it may be. To be able to get the best care for your kid that you possibly can and not have to worry about money, it's life-changing. I know it sounds stupid, like $3,000, right, is not a lot of money to a lot of people, probably a lot of you watching this. But looking back on where I came from and thinking that I could not even, like the doctors come in, and we live in such a society where everything they tell you you're going to do, they got to give you the price up front, right? So like, well, we're going to do this and it's going to cost $50. We're going to do this, it's going to cost $100. The ultrasound's going to be $500, right? So like, they literally have to tell you the price up front because the society we're in, unfortunately, it's such a struggle to try to get ahead financially. But you can. I did it. I didn't make a lot of money, right? It was a detailed budget. Deb had the budget written out for a year. Every single dollar had somewhere to go. And that's the reason we are here today, is literally, I wish we would have kept the notebook. Deb's little, no electronic. It was a little type notebook, like the one I write my notes in. And every check had this coming out, this coming out. We had this much money to pay extra on the debt. So it's possible. I'm living proof of that. So $3,000, the doctor's like, after like the third or fourth thing where he's like, we can do this, but it's gonna cost this much. I said, listen, whatever it takes, do not worry about the monetary side of, these things. Whatever we need to get done for him, we're willing to pay the expense to get it done. And that is just a huge weight off both of our shoulders, right? Deb's not here to speak for herself, but I'll speak for her. She, being stressed out about money was the same way with her. She even gets more stressed, and she goes down these rabbit holes of trying to figure out different ways. And even though we got money sitting in the bank, she's still always like, she's worried about money. And I'm like, listen, relax. It's fine. We're A-okay. There's plenty of money in the bank. I'm not going to disclose exactly how much we have in the bank, but there's enough to cover a vet emergency, a car emergency. I get my arm chopped off by the storage unit door emergency. And that's, honestly, thanks to her keeping the budget in line. So we're standing there, we're waiting, and other people are coming in, and it's kind of the same situation, and it's tough to be willing to pay this amount of money, right? I pay the $3,000. There's no guarantee he's going to get better, but we can give him the best quality, the best options we have to get it taken care of, and basically make sure your kids are doing all right at the end of the day. Now you're probably wondering, let's get into how much shit I had to sell to cover this. It is crazy though, right? Like, I sell junk on Amazon, literal junk. And it's got me out of debt. It's got me to a point in my life where I can save for a house, invest in retirement, have money in the bank for emergencies, and really take all the weight. And it's weird when you were so broke for so long, not being so broke, you still get nervous when you gotta, spend $3,000. But like at the end of the day, it's nothing. Like, who cares? Like, keep it moving, right? So I just want you all to know, right? This whole story of me going on before I get into these numbers, I just do this channel literally for these types of situations, because I used to be dead ass broke, in debt up to my eyeballs, and I couldn't afford a $20 meal, a $20 anything. And it took 2 years of strict budgeting, working my ass off at jobs I hated to get there. And the reselling it's a walk in the park, right? If you want this, you're going to go get it. If not, you can stay like Patrick Starr here on my shirt and say, I have $3. But if you're the person that's like, hey, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to make this a business, you can do it. If you're not getting results, there's only one person to blame. That's your own damn self. You got to be self-motivated to make any money in this business. So how much did I have to sell? How long did it take me to sell? I went and ran these numbers. So if we look at total sales to cover are roughly $3,000. I went back to May 5th. So May 5th to today, which is the 11th. It's still kind of early, so they take those sales into consideration. So to cover the expense of $3,000 roughly, 6 days of sales, 5.25 days sales. Who gives a shit anyway? We had to sell 205 items. and the average sales price was $14.58. So that is just your sales number, right? Like, this is Amazon. It's fee land. Y'all want to know how much that I really have to sell to cover it after fees. That's the important part. So all you jokers out there are about to type up the comment, that's just your sales. That's not how much you got paid. I got you in the book, wrapped, tucked away in bed. That's the end of the story. How much did I need to sell in profit and how long? So to cover this would be my sales from April 29th to May 11th, yet again. We sold 402 items for $6,306.34. Average sales price was $15.69. Total profit from the 6306 was $3,071. So that gives a little bit of sprinkling on top of the $3,000 we needed for the bill. Roughly what is that? 30 days, half September, April, June, 1, 2, under 2 weeks to cover the 3K bill and actual profit on Amazon. I got no complaints, right? Like CVS, I was bringing home like 1,100 every 2 weeks. On Amazon, you know, I'm pulling in over 3 every 2 weeks, and that's not including my other incomes, my influencer, my affiliate links, the podcast, everything, you know, everything. So I'm not going to complain about that, but those are the real numbers behind it, right? 2 weeks, you make $3 grand, you have it set aside for when an emergency happens. The possibilities are there. I've been going out more this year. I've been hustling a little bit harder, but by any stretch of the imagination, any single person that has an actual job out there knows this ain't nothing compared to getting up at 7 a.m. and going into your job and having to answer to a boss. But this is something for those that want to do this, but you ain't got the hustle muscle. You don't want to get out there. You just want shit to happen to you. You got to go out there and actually scan. You actually got to go out there and get some work done. Now, I did another little thing for you. Top 5 items I sold during this time period, right? So like, what are some of the items I sold? How much did I get paid for them to kind of put towards this bill? So the first one we got is China Beach. This is a DVD box set, the complete series. I've never heard of China Beach. We sold it for $57.98. Profit was $39.84. Next up, a book, Unacknowledged, and it's not an expose of the world's greatest secret. I think this is about aliens. We sold it for $66.39. Profit was $48.82. Next up, another book. They do call me the used book guy, I guess. Gospel and the Zodiac, The Truth About Jesus. Sale was $69. Profit was $51.42. We got 2 more. I'm doing my top 5. Another DVD, Dream On, seasons 1 and 2. I have never heard of Dream On either. I haven't heard of none of this. I just proved to you all, you don't need to know nothing. You just get out there, you just scan stuff, you throw it in a little box, you put a little bow in there, you put a chocolate bar in there so that when the employee opens it, he actually scans your stuff. You get paid every 2 weeks, thousands of dollars. I mean, that's really all there is to it. But yeah, no idea who Dream On is. And the highest item I sold during those 12 days was Degrassi High, the complete series. I sold it for $89.99. Profit was $71.15. So those 5 items alone made us what? $71.60, it's $130, plus $51, $180, plus another $50, $230, plus $40, $270. $270 profit from those 5 items. Guarantee I didn't pay more than $3 for any of them, right? So like, proof's in the pudding. I just want you all to do this for a reason, right? Have a purpose. You know, when I couldn't afford that damn vet bill back then, I said never again. I don't ever want to be in a situation where I can't afford to get something done that needs to be done for myself, for any of my loved ones. I want this to be taken care of. Don't let money be a huge stressor in your life forever. If you're broke right now, it's got to be for the time being. But if you take the steps, I wasn't making a lot of money. Back then, I worked at Kmart. Deb worked at the hospital housekeeping. I was making like $12.75 an hour. She was probably making a little bit less than me. I remember she had to go into work and be there by like 6:30. So I didn't start work till 9. So I would drive her out to work. and then drive back and sleep in the parking lot until Kmart opened. Then I would go work, pick her up on my lunch, then she would sit in the car until I was done work, and then we both would drive home. And then when she transferred to a different hospital, she was working overnights because I was working during the day at CVS. So I would get home. It was an hour drive one way for me, and I would get home, see her for like 2 hours. She would go to the hospital overnight. I would drive her there. It's about 35-minute drive. I would drive back, get up, pick her up in the morning, take her back home, and then go drive to CVS and work for another 10-hour shift. There's sacrifices that got to be made in this game. But if you do things right, it pays off in the end. You can take care of things like this. You can take care of yourself. You can breathe a little bit, right? You feel the weight off your shoulders. I'm not sitting here by any stretch of the imagination telling you I'm a rich prick, right? I'm not rich by no means necessary. I'm rich to 2012 Mike. 2012 Mike sees me, he's gonna be like, damn, dude, you're a billionaire. But it took time and effort and calculations and consistency and everything that is so hard for the person to do. But if you do it, you can get results. That's all I got for you. If anybody's looking to hire a black and white cat named Nico, he's great. He went to University of Pennsylvania. He's got his master's in biochemistry, engineering, mathematics, English. This cat is a genius. He's not even greedy about what you want to pay him. 10 bucks an hour, 20 bucks an hour, whatever you're comfortable paying this guy, he's willing to take it. And I'm willing to drive him to work, like I used to do with Dev. I'll drive Nico to your house to work just so he can start repaying his debts to me. I wish these cats could work. I wouldn't even need to do YouTube. I wouldn't need to sell on Amazon. I would just take all my cats to work every single day, and I'd probably have like 30 of them instead of the 3 that we have. That's gonna do it for the video. Don't be Patrick Star. Be Mr. Krabs with your money. Calculate every single dollar. Get yourself out of debt. Start making strides towards a little bit of a less stressful life and financial freedom. I appreciate you watching. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more used emergency vet, hopefully never again type videos. Bye-bye.